Hey everybody, I'm Chris. Thanks for watching our show. Today I'm going to be talking with you about quarterbacks for fantasy football in 2020. It's a very strange year. It's going to be a very strange August in general with not tons of information. I don't think you're going to find my list of the top 7 quarterbacks for fantasy all that strange, although the order, I think it's up for debate, so it's going to be interesting to go from 1 down to 7 among fantasy quarterbacks for this year. Let's dig right in. At the top of my list, you will not be shocked to find Patrick Mahomes, only the QB7 in fantasy last year, but he missed 2 games. And an overlooked part of his game is toughness. This is the play that changed the Super Bowl, 3rd and 15, losing by 10 points in the fourth quarter. Don't convert here, and it might be over for the Chiefs, and everything's on display on this play. The willingness to stand in longer than he should and take a hit, the vision to see the blown coverage, and the ludicrous arm, getting it, I counted 56 yards in the air without being able to step into the throw. He's the league MVP. He's the best player in the league. And I don't think it should shock you that I still have him number 1. Outside of Superflex, I'm going to say don't take any quarterback in the first round. There's just not enough of a spread between the best and whatever, the 10th best. I'm not probably taking a QB earlier than the 3rd or the 4th round in most drafts, to be honest. But I still think Mahomes should be the first off the board at the position in 2020. My number 2 is Lamar Jackson, and he was the fantasy MVP last year. And if you want to argue he should be number 1, I'm not going to get too mad at you. Of course, it's about the fact that he ran for 1,200 yards last year, a complete game wrecker in a Ravens offense that highlights and accentuates what a great runner that he is. It's fair to worry he gets hurt. All it takes is one hit, and he's going to take a lot of them. But he's obviously just totally transcendent as a rusher. His passing numbers in 2019 were probably artificially inflated by big plays. It's hard to have 36 passing touchdowns on only 3,100 yards passing. Jackson is not yet a great thrower. At times, reading a defense, I don't think he always knows what he was looking at last year. Here he's got 2 wideouts at the left sideline, doesn't see Mike Hilton read the play, throws it right to him. Throwing accuracy, when your default thing when you're going to throw the ball is to rely on your big arm and not step into throws, you might get the ball sailing on you like you do here. Now, he gets pressure. His mechanics sometimes aren't great. Here he misses an open man. But listen, the running makes up for it in fantasy. Jackson should go right where Patrick Mahomes goes in a fantasy draft for me. I'll get to the rest of the list in a moment, but first, let's thank the sponsor. It's Thursday Boots. These are my Thursday boots. These aren't actually boots, but they did come from Thursday Boots, and these are my longtime Thursday boots, and they are absolutely great. Without a company like Thursday, we wouldn't have a channel, so if you find yourself in the market for a new pair of boots, please consider Thursday. They are great. The look of a fashion boot, the durability of a work boot. They're made with a cork bed midsole so they conform to your feet. They're broken in almost right away. All kinds of styles and colors. Go to thursdayboots.com/harrisfootball. Always free shipping, always free returns. I swear by Thursday Boots. They've been featured in GQ, tons of other places. I love them. And supporting a sponsor helps keep our channel going. thursdayboots.com/harrisfootball. I hope you will consider them. Okay, getting back into my list of the top 7 quarterbacks for 2020. He lost his main man. DeAndre Hopkins is playing elsewhere, but my number 3 is still Deshaun Watson. Is there more uncertainty for Watson this year? Sure. No Hopkins having to rely on the injury-prone Will Fuller, the concussion-prone Brandon Cooks, having David Johnson aboard for the ride. It could go fine, but the Texans could also potentially disappoint. I just don't think Watson will. He's got a great big arm, and he's a good reader of defenses. I also want to remind us what he's like as a runner. Deshaun Watson has an elite nose for the end zone when he gets close. On a 4th and 1 in the red zone, he'll keep a read option and go around the left edge and just be stronger and tougher and meaner, launching himself and getting to the pylon. and scoring a touchdown. That was week 1 last year. Here's another one. I think you can tell on this one that Watson's default setting probably is not to scramble like Lamar Jackson's default setting is to scramble. I think Watson is throw first, but then he can accelerate around the edge, looking like young Russell Wilson, scrambling to throw, but then just scrambling and scoring. And this one, the other direction, and that right there, the player he's shrugging off is Frank Clark. And Frank Clark weighs 260 pounds, and Deshaun Watson is strong like bull. Watson only had 413 yards rushing last year, still pretty good, but he also still finished QB4. His floor is safe. His upside is really high. He's my number 3. At number 4, it's really my guy, the number 3 quarterback in fantasy in 2019, Russell Wilson, just so safe, such a good player. I have to tell you, every time I go on someone else's show, you know what they say about Wilson? I love Wilson too, but that Seattle offense doesn't throw it enough. No, stop. That's not a thing in 2020. Wilson had 32 attempts per game last year. Deshaun Watson had 33. We need to stop with this. Wilson throws the prettiest, most accurate deep ball in the league, and 30-plus attempts per game is plenty. You think attempts lead directly to being an awesome fantasy quarterback? May I introduce you to Jared Goff and Matt Ryan and Tom Brady and Carson Wentz, all of whom finished top 5 in attempts last year, none of whom finished higher than 9th in fantasy points. I just want you to watch this read and this throw by Wilson. So this is Tyler Lockett out of the left slot. And this is zone defense from the Cardinals. Let's freeze it right here and show Arizona's defenders and pay special attention to number 32, Budda Baker. Good young player. He's the bait. Watch the play roll. Who does Baker cover? It's a trick defense. He doesn't cover David Moore. He lets him go. He's just floating. He's playing zone. He's the free-ranging zone defender here, and Wilson wants to go to Lockett, and a lot of quarterbacks, that's an interception. They don't see Baker, and he picks it off, just like we saw Lamar Jackson do a few minutes ago, but Wilson does see it, and what a throw. He lofts it just enough to get it between the two levels of defense. That is 10 out of 10 quarterbacking. He's great. He's number 4. At number 5, this one makes me nervous. It's Kyler Murray. If we were ranking just the best passers in the league at this point in their careers, Murray isn't close to the top 10, but it's fantasy and running matters. And just watch these rushing highlights of Kyler Murray from his rookie year. He's an A-plus runner in the Harris Football Almanac, incredibly elusive. And if he hadn't been battling a bad hamstring in the second half of 2019, easy to imagine he'd have been closer to Lamar Jackson in rushing yards than the number 3 spot. You're going to hear all sorts of noise about, Cliff Kingsbury's offense plays so fast. They run so many plays. Well, that automatically means good things for Kyler Murray. That only works if you're good. It only works if you can keep drives going. The Cardinals may have gone the fastest when they had the ball in 2019, but they ran the league's 22nd most plays, and they had the league's 18th most pass attempts. Of course, the good news is that this guy's coming to town. I mentioned him earlier. It's DeAndre Hopkins. Talent trumps scheme in the NFL. Hopkins is one of the, 5 most talented wideouts in the league with maybe the best hands in the entire NFL. We'll get Murray's running. We'll get a year 2 bump, hopefully just because he's more experienced, and we'll get him throwing to DeAndre Hopkins. At number 6, I've got Aaron Rodgers. I don't think you'll have to take him as the 6th quarterback off the board. I think you'll be able to wait, and when have we ever said that about Aaron Rodgers? You know the primary problem with Rodgers. It really hasn't been him for all the hype and all the talk. The past couple of years, yes, okay, he freelances, and he gets mad at teammates, and he gets mad at his coaches, but some of these receivers, they are worth getting mad at, and okay, I guess it's fair for people to say, isn't it basically exactly the same cast of receiving characters with Devin Funchess opting out? Why should the results be any better? I mean, I'll just ask you how much better it really has to be. I grant that you're not going to get elite rushing yards from Aaron Rodgers anymore. But if you think Aaron Jones isn't going to get 19 touchdowns again, because just it doesn't happen from year to year, right? It has happened 2 times in a row, then I'll tell you that a quarterback who has 4,000 plus passing yards and 4 interceptions in an entire season on a pretty good team overall is probably going to get more than 26 touchdown passes, more like mid-30s. If you take the drafting of Jordan Love in the first round to mean the Packers think that Aaron Rodgers is cooked, I don't know. I look at these plays and I think he's not cooked. But again, the good news is if you want to make a bet on Aaron Rodgers this year, you're going to get to wait until the later rounds. And at number 7, I'm going with another guy who won't help you running. Is he the second oldest quarterback in the league? At age 41 is Drew Brees. The only thing that really held him back last year for fantasy was the thumb he broke in week 2. In terms of fantasy points per game, Brees was number 7 last year. He was a 1/10 of a point behind Patrick Mahomes. I'm the first one to admit Brees doesn't go down the field all that much anymore, and he does occasionally have shaky arm strength moments because his arm isn't as strong as it used to be. This pass here where he's trying to sneak one down the field to his fullback, actually, maybe not the best decision, but it also clearly floats on him and allows 2 defenders to get over, and that's because, as you can see, he can't really step into the throw and therefore has to rely on all arm, and it's intercepted because when he has to rely on all arm, it's not great. But I don't want you to think that Brees is like end-stage Peyton Manning. This one is from later in the year, and this is a dart thrown down the right sideline to Michael Thomas. He probably shouldn't throw this one either, but he does because he's the most accurate thrower in the league right now and one of the most accurate throwers ever. He hits the only spot where this could possibly be complete. And that's really why we consider taking Brees in the middle rounds. An offense that is perfect for him. And, when you can hit a guy in perfect stride so frequently, it's just so safe. The ride will certainly end for Drew Brees pretty soon, but I don't see any reason on film to believe that he's cooked for 2020. Now, you'll notice I didn't talk about Dak Prescott. I have Dak at number 8. And I know the market is quite a bit higher on Dak Prescott than that. I find myself in the position of maybe not quite trusting him and not wanting to spend a 3rd or 4th round pick on him. For some of the conversation about why, check out a video we did on the channel about surprising stats. One of them is about Dak Prescott. I like him. I just don't like him where he's being drafted. That is it for the top 7 quarterbacks for 2020. Thank you very much for watching. Remember, you can go get the 2020 Harris Football Player Profile Almanac. There's so much stuff in there, I can't possibly describe it, but I think you will enjoy it. It's $18. You can find it at harrisfootball.com. Until next time, thanks for watching. Thanks so much for watching. Please, please, please smash that like button. Write a comment, tell us who else you'd like to see us review film on, and of course, best of all, please subscribe to our channel and then click that little bell above the subscribe button and you'll be notified whenever we post a new video.